I'm so excited to have this interview today. I have the very special Marianne Hamilton Illing on with me today. Marianne has worked with me professionally. She's been an amazing friend and support, but she has been one of my clients recently in the Food Zombie Challenge. And I invited her today to just come and share with you guys what it's like working with me, what coaching is all about, just so you have a bit more of an idea of an insider's view of what kind of happens behind the scenes when I talk about my clients. So welcome, Marianne. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I always love being in this group. It's got so much love and so much juiciness.
Absolutely. So did you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Marianne Illing. I'm the founder of a company called the My Collective, meaning Marianne Illing is a collective. I'm very much about community and impact. And I believe that together, if we all empower ourselves to raise our vibration, we can create a brand new planet with pure love, pure joy, and incredible energy. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, all those boxy things. In human design, which I'm very excited about at the moment, I'm a manifesting generator, which means my aura is way out here. So, and then I'm a soul coach, and alignment and activation is so important to me. But more importantly, I needed to get my journey with food right because I believe that we are human beings and we are in our body, and your body is so important. So for me, as speaking on a vibrational level, and I know it all sounds woo woo, but I'm actually a scientist at heart. That was what was extremely important to me when I decided to do the challenge with you.
Okay, so did you want to just share with us a little bit what your relationship with food was like before the Food Zombie Challenge?
So I was shit scared of food. I was frightened to actually put something in my mouth, which I discovered on the challenge. But before, it was very much, I thought about food all the time. Like, oh my word, it actually caused me anxiety. Like, what am I going to eat for lunch? Or what am I having for breakfast? It was like this pressure of food in my life instead of enjoying it. And then it was, if I did have something, which would only be on a Friday on the odd occasion, I would feel guilty for 24 hours afterwards at least. So, yeah, before the food challenge, my relationship with food was not the best. It was getting better because Estelle said three things to me just as a friend. I had put on so much weight, I had moved provinces. I don't know why, but every time I move provinces, I blimp up like you've never seen in your life before, every single time. So obviously, my body was taking on stress. I was exercising like a crazy person, and I was massive. And she just said three things to me. She said, Marianne, do not diet, because I was in this cycle of yo-yo dieting after my daughter was born. And those three little words changed my life. So when she ran the challenge, I knew, like, if three words changed my life, I'm sure, I think it was 3 weeks, would be mind-blowing. And they were.
Thank you so much. So, um, what was your biggest aha moment during the challenge or during our time together?
My biggest aha moment was that I was actually frightened of food. I think that changed everything for me, because if you put that in reality, food is a part of your everyday life. And that would mean I was then anxious 24/7 without even realizing it. I'd done a lot of work on myself. I had had postnatal depression quite badly. I had had anxiety. But if you pull it back, if you're anxious about food all the time, then that affects the choices you're making daily as well. So that for me was a huge aha moment. And during the challenge, you gave us quite a few tools. And I remember having aha moments with the tools, thinking, this may sound simple, but this is actually life-changing.
Absolutely. So I always talk about anxiety being a double-edged sword when it comes to food. First of all, we use food to comfort us when we do feel anxiety, but then food can also cause anxiety, which then leads us back to eating. So it's such a vicious circle. And I love that you mentioned that because, you know, we have been through we've been socially conditioned that food is bad, and you know, I've just been really trying to get it out there to people that if you're living by those food rules, you'll always be thinking of food because you've made it forbidden somehow. It's out of bounds, and then your body always, your mind will always want what it cannot have. So thank you for sharing that. So beautiful.
It's a pleasure.
So, given your experience in the Food Zombie Challenge, would you recommend working with me, whether it's through a challenge or a program in the
Yes,
future?
yes. You don't even have to finish. Yes, it's a no-brainer, guys. It's like if food is even on your mind, you need to work with this style. Food was on my mind all day, every day. It's not anymore. I do so many different things now. I allow myself the space to do whatever I want. I allow myself to eat what I've checked in with my body. My body and my brain are now working together. So yes, if food is even on your mind, you should be working with this style.
Thank you so much. And do you want to just share with us one of the biggest tools that's still helping you today?
I would say all these tools, obviously, you need to form a habit because the more you run with these tools, the more often you'll use them. It's funny, in the actual challenge, for me, the body scan was mind blowing. So I did that for a very, very long time. I don't have to do it anymore because like I said, my brain is now telling me, okay, it's time to eat. Okay, it's time to hydrate. Okay, it's time for a cup of tea. Um, so all those things. So it's not just food; it's what your body needs. And I would say, yeah, the body scan was definitely the biggest thing. But understanding why I had all these different things. I came to Estelle because it's so funny. I wasn't actually in touch with what I needed at the time. Weirdly enough, because I'm a very intuitive person, it's quite funny. Um, but I came to her for what we called in the Food Zombie Challenge, and she can explain the whole thing. Is that I came for Late Night Lucy, and it wasn't a Late Night Lucy. It was a whole food, I wouldn't say food issue per se, but it was what was going on in my mind that was the biggest problem. So when you can be present, and by doing that body scan, I was like, oh, yes, this is this is what I need. Okay, yes. And then we had that one-on-one call, and I know I'm deviating a bit,
No.
because in that program you get to have a one-on-one call with the style, and that's where I uncovered I wasn't eating enough because I was so scared of eating anything.
Mm, absolutely. And that's probably what drove most of your food thoughts.
Says the genius. You see, I didn't know any of that.
Oh, that's so amazing. You know, in the Food Zombie Challenge, I also shared with you my signature stop method. And how's that helped you along in your journey?
It has helped a lot. I am a very present person, so to speak, but I still use it. That's the one thing I still use even now, because if there is something that I want, and I don't use it that often anymore, like I say, I think it's formed more of a habit, but then I'm like, do you really need it? And the stop method is then you slow down, and what do you want right now? So I think it becomes part of an everyday thing to do, especially in the beginning. And by being present and realizing what you need, And it works not just with food, it works within all parts of my life. If you just stop and you slow down, you can see from the outside instead of being on the inside.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Marianne, for sharing your experiences. Did you have anything else you wanted to add about the challenge or the program or your experience?
I want to add that if you're in denial, you really need to work with the style. I had tried everything. I had tried every diet. I had exercised myself into oblivion. When someone would look at me, they would probably think, oh my word, you're doing nothing. And it was the complete opposite. I was doing everything. So instead of waiting for something to come along, a diet is never going to work for you, and you're going to think it's going to work for you, and you're going to be on this cycle and this spiral, and you start loathing who you are. That's what's even worse, and you're trying so hard. Whereas with working with Estelle, it's more of a body, mind, soul connection. Whereas when you really start working with the body, it sorts out the mind, and then you don't have these fears. I can see in my own life by not having that fear anymore. First of all, my body's got way more energy. I'm not tired all the time. I was tired. I would wake up and literally feel tired for such a long part of my day. That's the first thing. The second thing is that anxiety that I was having without realizing it was playing out in my life in different ways. Even though I was extremely mindful and I wasn't suffering, but my body was taking on the anxiety. So, I mean, for me, and my brain now does the work. I now go, yes, it's time for this. It's time for that. It's life changing stuff, and it's worth everything. Otherwise, you're just going to be cycling yourself in spirals. And I know there will be people who watch you all the time and think, oh, I kind of got a handle on it. If you're saying, I kind of got a handle on it, you don't have a handle on
it. Thank you so much, my friend. That means so much. And thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's super brave to come up here and talk about, your struggles and what you've gone through. And I really appreciate your time and also your brave words and your beautiful sharing of your experience with working with me. So thank you so much. And
it. Pleasure.
that's all.